like you said, in order for you to be successful and accumulate wealth, you have to work on yourself first. And that's not just hustle all the time. Like, you really have to know what your heart, your spirit, your soul, your mind is healthy first before you can even get there.
I mean, I'm a hustler, so I know that word is
Yeah.
probably not appropriate now in 2026, but I'm a proud hustler. I don't think that's ever going to be out of my existence. There's no shame in asking the people you know.
Right.
You know, I think that a lot of folks everyone's just kind of like running for that one grant or trying to get a loan, you know, but sometimes you can tap in and build capital for your business just by basically raising money amongst the people that you know.
Yeah.
And that's where proximity is so critical.
Yeah.
You might be able to get 5,000 from this person, 20,000 from this person, and then you can build what you want for yourself in business.
So it's just like coming up with different ideas on the beach. And it was like, okay, this is another $1 million idea right here.
Yes.
Hey, beautiful. Welcome to Black, Beautiful, and Wealthy, a space created to celebrate women who are powerhouses, building wealth and legacy on their own terms. And happy International Women's Day. Today marks our inaugural episode, and we are celebrating Black, beautiful, and wealthy women across Canada and around the world. Today's episode is especially special to me because one of the women who inspired me to create this platform, is here today. Treasa Leigh Brown is a powerhouse. She is the CEO and founder of Leigh Event Group and the CEO and founder of ProfessionELLE House, a self-funded membership-based social business club and Canada's first social club for Black women entrepreneurs. Teresa is a visionary builder of businesses, community, and access. Her work has been featured in Forbes, Fashion Bomb Daily, Biz Bash, and she is the 2025 Entrepreneur of the Year award awarded by Black North Initiative, amongst other awards that she has. But I am truly honored to have her here with us today for our first inaugural episode. Thank you, Teresa, for coming today. I appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. I mean, what an intro.
I feel like it still didn't do you justice. Like, honestly, how do you feel about your accomplishments so far? Like, just hearing that.
I think it was a beautiful reminder of just how far I've come.
Yeah.
And the importance of just staying true to your vision.
Yeah.
And making bold moves, doing what's in your heart and being obedient to like whatever God has in store for you.
I love that. I love the way that you said that. And that's kind of focuses a lot on what we're going to talk about today. The theme today, or the talking point that I have for us today, is to really talk about investing in yourself while building wealth, right? And before we get into all of that, though, I really want to know about your journey into becoming this powerhouse that you are today, and, you know, the upbringing and the start of it all from you.
Goodness. Where do I start? So I come from Jamaican and English background.
Okay.
My father is actually born in the UK.
Wow.
And my mother is Jamaican.
Wow. Okay.
And goodness, I grew up with my mom. So I grew up in a single parent home.
Okay.
But I say single parent home very loosely because I was always surrounded by community. I had an amazing family around me. My mom comes from a beautiful family, and everyone really just came together, and my sister and I didn't ever want for anything.
Nice.
You know, so it was just an amazing opportunity to see community firsthand.
Yeah.
With your loved ones. I was a wild child, so I think that
right. I
yes, I definitely was wild and free. Is that what they say? Yes. I didn't follow the rules.
Okay.
I made them, and I was really good at breaking them.
Rebellious?
Yes, definitely. I left home at a very early age, and probably earlier than I should have.
Okay.
So I've been on my own since I was in high school.
Wow.
Yeah, so I left home at 15.
Okay.
And just kind of started my journey, as I like to describe. Kind of bounced around places. I stayed with a couple family members, stayed with friends. At one point, there was, and I want to use this very loosely, I was homeless.
Okay.
So there was a couple of days that I had nowhere to sleep, so I slept outside.
Okay.
And I wouldn't say that was really a definition of my upbringing. You know, there was just certain surroundings that I was in that just wasn't good for me. And I was able to identify that quickly. And I was like, I didn't care where I was going to figure it out or how I was going to make it happen. I just left and I just did my own thing. I became a teenage mom.
Okay.
So I got pregnant at 16. I had my son at 17, all while I was like in high school still.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like figured things out. You know, I think, I don't even want to say that I know that God has always put people around me to support me.
Wow.
So I feel like community has just always been there for me in different aspects, right? When I was in high school and I was a mom, my teachers rallied around me. I was able to bring my son to school. You know, friends, teachers would kind of like watch him while I was doing maybe tests or presentations, etc. And I figured my way through high school. I was valedictorian in my high school, which was like, I think the first awakening of me realizing that, like, girl, you can literally do anything.
Wow.
Like, you are not the valedictorian. You like, on paper, you should not be the valedictorian.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, went to post-secondary school, have a background in finance. So I have a degree in accounting and finance. I also have a master's in finance.
Okay.
Started my career in accounting. So just like the boring stuff, collections, you know, payables, entry level, always have been a go-getter. So always have, you know, found a way to learn more and to create opportunities for myself. I never wanted to just do like the bare minimum. I always wanted to be the best at whatever it is that I was going to be, right? And so at that point I had a son. So I needed to show up, you know, and so I did that. Worked for probably about 10 years in the corporate environment. My final position in my early 30s before I switched careers was a senior vice president of a global asset management company. So I had all the perks, the car, the bonuses, the corner office with the window. Like I had, a team that reported into me locally and internationally. So ran like treasury, finance, you know, all of the things.
Okay.
And then I got diagnosed with thyroid cancer. So when I got diagnosed with that, I just decided that like working for someone and building someone else's business is just not beneath me, but I knew that I had the capabilities to do more.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, fast forward, that's when I kind of just decided I'm going to start my own business. And so that's what birthed Leigh Event Group.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I always had a love for design, style, fashion, music, all the things.
So events was it for you? That was like the beginning of the birth of entrepreneurship.
Yeah. And I literally started that business with $500. I had a laptop.
Yeah, right.
And $500. $500. No real savings either. We had just bought a house, my husband and I, like literally.
What?
Yeah, we didn't even have furniture in our house, actually. Like, we just had like beds, and the kids had beds, and obviously we had necessities, but we had like no, you know, fanciness. And I just was like, hey, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to give it my all. And my husband said, listen, if you're going to give it your all, then I know we're going to be good.
Oh, nice. Wow.
So
how does it feel to have someone support you like that? Like,
it feels really good.
yeah.
Because I didn't necessarily grow up in a conventional environment, like with like a mother and a father together, right? My parents have been divorced for many, many years, far back as I can remember. Right. So, you know, to have somebody immediate, like within my immediate proximity, in this case, my partner in crime, my husband, supporting me, I think was just the icing on the cake and has really catapulted what my capabilities are and what I'm able to do, because he does work a traditional 9 to 5, et cetera. But beyond the stability, just having that support is like infinite.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine that, because when you're an entrepreneur, like it's all about the vision and then trying to execute it, but not having someone alongside you to support you and to have your back while you go through it, it makes it even harder to even execute that.
I can't imagine.
Oh my gosh.
I literally cannot imagine.
But your story, my goodness. My word. Like, I would have never known. But like, it is so inspiring the more I talk to you, every time I talk to you and I get to know you even more. That story is amazing. But I'm going to go back to the basics. And what I wanted to know is, when it comes to wealth, and I know you became an accountant, and I guess maybe you got a lot of that knowledge from that. But prior to that, did your upbringing ever talk about money and wealth, or did you learn anything about it as you grew up before you became the accountant and learned about money and finance?
No, not at all. I've never had any formal discussions, let's say in my family, about money, other than the traditional things in which you hear people say, like, you work, you save, and that's it. But nothing, you know, with regards to like investing or anything beyond just like the typical have a savings account, you know? And so for me, I just knew that I wanted more for myself. Right. I was very inquisitive. I really wanted to know what it was like to own property. What was it like to have hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank? How do I get there? Because if you're only making X amount of dollars annually, then how do you have X amount of dollars in real savings, right?
Exactly.
So for me, I just knew that I had, at the time, I only had my one son, and I wanted to give him more than I had. And it's not any, you know, disrespect to, you know, my mom or like my stepdad or anything like that, because they did an incredible job the best way that they could.
Yes,
but the reality is, it was just, I needed to give my son more than I had. And so, I mean, I'm from the era of encyclopedias. There was no, you know, social media. We had MSN Messenger. You know, there was nothing really now where you can just go onto a social media or
Black
platform.
Planet.
Right. Although I was never on Black Planet, I have to say, okay? But, you know, there was no way to figure things out besides asking people. So I started putting myself in proximities with folks that I saw had things that I wanted, and I would ask questions. You know, so when I play back my younger years, I think about the people that I was around. I remember I have a girlfriend. We're still friends to this day, but I remember when we were in grade 8, she was telling me that her dad got a job offer for a company in Chicago. And so they were going to be leaving, you know, Mississauga, and they were going to be relocating to Chicago. And I remember playing conversations like that back, like when I got into my teens, and trying to figure out, like, okay, so then how do I work in Chicago? Like, you know, how do I own this big house that they had? Like, like, how does this happen? So I would just put myself in proximity, and I would figure things out.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that's amazing, because it's good to be able, but a lot of people I find, you know, even though you have people around you and you see what they have, they're very timid to like reach out and ask questions. Do you find that like more like a Canadian thing, or is that like something about our culture that makes us hesitant to like find out or seek information from other people?
I mean, listen, I grew up in a household where I can't remember how the saying goes. It's like a child, and this is very West Indian, a child is supposed to be seen and not heard, right? And so, again, I don't follow the rules. So for me, I don't know if it's a Canadian thing. I don't know if it's a cultural thing. I think just people, it's an individual thing. I think people have to be comfortable enough to want to be inquisitive and to ask questions. And I think the older we get is the more pride that we have. And then that's where it makes us feel like if we are asking a question, it's maybe not allowing us to feel our worth, or we're not feeling like, okay, what are we looking like to that person when we're asking these questions, right? And so I don't care. It's just a hard stop. I don't care. I will ask questions, and I will put myself in places so that I can learn.
That's good. That's good. I think that's something that we all just need to do more, ask questions, and the right people.
Yes.
The right people questions, right?
The right people.
Next, I wanted to find out, like, based on that, like your journey and learning about success and wealth pretty much on your own terms, your own way. How has that evolved? Like, what do you see in yourself? What does wealth mean to you today?
That's a good question. How did I know you're going to come with something tricky? I'm kidding. Wealth is, to me, it's beyond transaction. So it's not just the dollars and cents. It's really building out a legacy that, what are people going to say and think and remember about you when you're gone? How did you impact lives, right? And I guess to me that wealth is more legacy building.
Okay.
Right? It's creating a new path for the generation that's coming up behind you, and making it a little bit more accessible for them than it was for you.
Yeah.
There's so many definitions for me when it comes to wealth. I mean, do I care about my money? Absolutely. There's anyone that knows me knows I do not play when it comes to that. But there are bigger things than that, right? Because at the end of the day, when your time comes, we can't take our money with us, and we can't do so. It's your relationship with God. It's your spirituality. It's how you treat people. It's, creating a pathway for that next generation or for your community. And it's kind. It's being kind to people. It's giving people grace. It's, sharing your knowledge, and just creating opportunities for folks that you may have possibly had to jump through hoops to get to, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm wealthy because I have a great husband. I have great children. I have a great community of friends around me. I have a great team. All of those things help me be wealthy and help me get the transactional side of wealth.
Yeah.
But wealthy to me is a larger definition.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's so good, because like what you just said, not a lot of people would say that. Like, they would not define wealth with the people around them, with their kids and with their spouse. It's always money. Is how much is on the bank, how much cars they have, or how many houses they have. But knowing that foundational, all that stuff will go as soon as God calls you. And it's what you leave behind. It's your legacy that it really defines what the wealth is for you.
To me, that's what it is.
Perfect. That is perfect segue into my next question. Self-investment. Does that actually lead to wealth? And if so, based on your experience, how would you say self-investment, investing in yourself, can get you to being wealthy?
So I would say for me personally, I have coasted for many years. And what I mean by that is that I have neglected Teresa.
Okay.
I have put the needs of others first for many, many years. And thankfully, I have been in a position where it's gotten me as far as it has. Fast forward to now, I would say probably within the last 7 years-ish or so, the minute I hit my 40s, it's like a light bulb went off.
Okay.
And I started to realize that some of the things that I was putting first don't matter.
Right.
Or they are not pouring back into me the way that I'm pouring back into them.
Okay.
My biological clock is ticking.
Yes.
And so I need to realign what's important. And I started reading. Believe it or not, I'm not an avid reader.
Okay.
I like to listen to audiobooks.
Right.
I don't know how I got through university because I do not like to read. But I started reading, and then I started realizing that I needed to teach myself how to prioritize myself. And that shifted my mindset.
Wow.
I started thinking more positive. I started, just being more optimistic in my journey, and I started giving myself grace.
Okay.
I started realizing that, no, I don't need to know everything. I don't need to be everything to everyone.
That's true.
And until I fix myself, because I had some underlying issues that I just wasn't dealing with, I started therapy in my 40s and all of that because I really needed to deal with some past traumas and different things that I just kind of was leaving to the back burner, right?
Yeah.
So the minute that I found the recipe, if you will, to self-investment, the only way I can describe it, it's like you are on like a roller coaster. And a roller coaster in a good way, one of those roller coasters that will I can't think of one right now that's maybe at Wonderland where you kind of go high and then it drops you really quickly.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. It because I started fixing myself, things started happening really quickly in a good way for me. Because I focused on my spirituality. I focused on my mental health. I started focusing on, the people that I was around. I was so focused on trying to be around so many people that it was almost devaluing me.
Wow.
Right.
Okay.
And it was, I started to realize that some of the people that I was around weren't necessarily a good look for me either.
Yeah.
And so again, that self-investment really happened based on reevaluating what I wanted for myself.
Yeah.
And everything really started to align. I was successful. I am successful. But things became far beyond my wildest dreams the minute I realigned myself and really started focusing on investing in me.
Wow. So what I'm hearing is to start off with self-investment, it's really mental and understanding the mindset, also curing anything that past traumas. So going to therapy, for example, what and because there's a lot of stigma around going to therapy, especially, now it's becoming a little bit more open and honest about it. But how did you get to a point where you're like, yeah, you know what, this is something that I need to try and need to start?
A couple of things on a personal level happened. I started realizing that I was no longer in control, and I use the word in control loosely, of my children. My children started to become older, and they started to vocalize to me in a respectful way things that I was saying.
Okay.
Like, Mom, you don't have to say it like that.
Right.
Or Mom, you don't always have to be in charge.
Right.
Or Mom, you know, and I get it. This is what kids will say. But then I started hearing what they were saying to me.
Okay.
And I'm like, whoa, I don't want them to think or perceive me in that way.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm their mother, but at the same time, I don't want them to relive some of the things that maybe I had to.
Yeah.
And I realized that was coming out. I would just be driving and a song would come on and I would just start crying.
Wow.
You know, and I would realize okay, girl, the song's not that serious,
Yeah.
you know? And so at that point I realized, okay, maybe I need to talk to someone.
Yeah.
And I always thought that like therapy was for like crazy people, or because I
Right.
grew up in a West Indian home and family, like, you know, it's not
Yes.
for, you know, it's for something, for people that need it. Right. And I'm like, Treasa, you are not this, you know? And then, yeah, I started therapy. I found somebody, I had a few stipulations. It had to be a woman. She had to be like Christian based, and she had to be Black, because I knew that some of the things I was going to tell her, it may not be relatable to other communities.
Right.
And yeah, those were kind of some of the indicators for me why I needed to get into therapy. And I went to therapy shy for the first little while, like not telling her anything,
Right.
you know, but then eventually stuff came out and I started to feel better.
Okay. Nice. Yeah. I'm still looking for, you know, a therapist. I find like it's really hard to find it in our community, Black female therapists. They're very busy. The few that are
There are tons.
but there are more now. Yes, there are more now, and there are a few that I was able to meet as recently. So
Yes.
that's definitely great thing to have, because like you said, in order for you to be successful and accumulate wealth, you have to work on yourself first. And that's not just hustle all the time. Like, you really have to know what your heart, your spirit, your soul, your mind is healthy first before you can even get there.
I mean, I'm a hustler, so I know that word is
Yeah.
probably not appropriate now in 2026, but I'm a proud hustler. I don't
Yeah,
think
let's
that's
talk about
ever
that.
going to be out of my existence. But I mean,
Define that for me. What's the hustler? What is a hustler?
a hustler for me is like, I'm just not leaving things on the table as long as there's alignment. So let's say the old Teresa was taking everything.
Right.
You know,
okay.
I used to do probably 30, 40 events a year because I wanted to be booked and busy. I wanted to have the most events, and I was just burning myself out. This Teresa is still booked and busy, but I'm booked and busy with alignment. So I refuse jobs if the client if I don't feel like the client is aligned with my values and the mission of my business, or I think this client is going to give my team a headache and they're just not worth it, then I'm not interested in taking them on, right? To your earlier point, when you talked about like the, you know, therapy, I feel like that's one of the reasons why even like at a professional house now, we've implemented having free psychotherapy for our members, because it's important that everyone experiences that realignment and that self-investment, you know? And so it's something that I know culturally we just don't talk about. And now it's becoming, you know, the thing that's
popular.
normal. But yeah.
Thank God for that people are becoming, you know, more open to doing it, and it's more talked about now. Because,
You just got to find the right person.
Yeah, that's it. You got to interview a few, feel which one aligns to you, and then go that direction.
I mean, it's tricky, right? I'm definitely of the mindset that I don't hire people I know.
Right.
And I know that it's maybe kind of counterproductive in a way of what I'm promoting through like my professional house community. I offer obviously the resources, et cetera, to all the members, but like there's certain people, certain categories that I won't hire because it's just too close to my proximity, like my finances, you know, psychotherapy, real estate. There's just certain things that I won't hire from somebody that I necessarily know. It has to be a to me. Probably the lawyer is the only one, because the lawyers, they're in an NDA, so they're not going to say anything.
Right? No, that makes sense. That makes sense. Total sense. And to go into more about wealth and the way that you build it, what are some ways that you invested in yourself over the years that you can say now, you know what, thank God, or a good thing that I did this, because it definitely contributed to where I am today?
Probably, wow. Two biggest things that come out. Number one, traveling. That's an investment for me. Every quarter I take a trip.
Like vacation traveling or like...
Creative reset is what I call it.
Okay.
So I'll travel to a destination. I'm always working. That's the truth. So I will usually piggyback on an opportunity for me to get, again, to be in a proximity. So I could be going to Miami because it is Art Basel, you know, and then I'm going to connect with somebody there that's now going to be a business opportunity, right? But then I have the balance of like integrating personal and business in the sense of like I will reset myself, and take the time to be on the beach, make my notes, do all the things, right? I mean, speaking of Miami, that's really kind of how I birthed Professional House. Like I literally was on the beach and I was like writing things out and I'm like, I'm going to open a social club, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, because I was just in my zone. And I was just there to kind of like reset. So I would say investing in traveling is absolutely something. And I block my calendar. So I take no meetings. I'm not doing anything like locally wise here. Right. That's my thing. So at least 4 times a year I travel.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And so I feel like that has really helped me from like a creative perspective. It's shown me new people. It's shown me fashion, style, foods, music, all things that kind of pour into like the Leigh event group side of my life, right? Yep. Allows me to, transpose those into ideas for clients, mainly my corporate clients, because weddings are obviously very different. Another thing for me is purchasing real estate. So owning multiple properties has been incredible because it's been able to help me financially in an environment where we don't have access to like grants and all the things that, you know, we would maybe get in other opportunities through other countries, like, you know. So I feel like there are grants here, but you have to jump through so many. Like I look at the grant applications and I'm like, I might as well just give you my heart at this point. It's so much just to get so little.
It is. It is a lot.
You know, and then when you have to...
Like loans are easy, but when it comes to getting a grant, it's like the hardest thing ever.
Yeah, loans are easy, but I mean, honestly, I don't promote that. Even when I'm like mentoring people, I get it. Not everyone has a slush fund, a savings or investments, etc. they can pull from, equity from their homes, whatever, whatever means that they have. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you're going to take a loan, you also have to have the financial responsibility and the knowledge and understanding. So like when the, you know, organizations are saying like, hey, we're giving, you know, $10 million to the Black community. It's like, okay, you're doing that, but then we have to jump through hoops to get it. And then are you even mentoring? Are you, you know, helping us go through business plans? Are you educating us? So for me, back to your original question.
No, that's a valid point though.
You know, it's like the grants is what you want to try to get, but they're just ridiculously hard to get. And sometimes I just look at it, I'm just X out of it. I'm not even interested. It's easier for me to have my own money and figure out a way to make that money back that I've invested. And I also feel like you take it more seriously. When you said, hey, I put $250,000 into a business and I need to earn that money back, you're going to figure out a way to make that money back. When you're getting free money, you're not as incentivized, right? And so that's my thought process. But yes, having multiple properties has been really helpful, and it's been a catalyst for me to be able to build out my businesses, sustain my businesses, because I'm not always making money. You know, when I was in my journey of entrepreneurship, although I'm still in it, there's times where I'm like, wait, what? I have $20 in the bank?
Right.
You know, and I still have to make payroll. I still have to pay rent. I have to, you know what I mean? And so again, because I invested my own money into this business, now I'm like, okay, either do I get a business line of credit or do I decide like, okay, let me come up with something that I can, you know, monetize.
Right.
So, yeah.
So it's just like coming up with different ideas on the beach. And it was like, okay, this is another $1 million idea right here.
Yes.
That's gonna pay the bills and buy me another property. Is pretty much what.
Yes, that's the plan. That's the plan.
No, that's fabulous, and I like how you told us about, you know, buying properties, because even though you have all these different businesses and it has nothing to do with like investing in properties or anything like that. But once you have a certain amount of money and a certain amount of, leverage, using that to secure your finances and sustain it. So, you said investing in property is one of the ways that you sustain, your finances. Is there any other investments that you do, or any other avenues or that you do to help you sustain your wealth?
Yeah, so I do have a financial planner, essentially. So this is someone that we've been working with now since my husband and I got married, which was almost 22 years ago. So we work with her, and she has our money in different pots. We've dabbled in crypto. We've dabbled in a couple of other things in terms of financial securities. I'm also a silent partner to a few businesses. So I've invested in businesses. So I get dividends and other, payouts, etc. So I don't just, from the face of Treasa Leigh Brown, I have my two businesses, but I have money in other places.
Okay. So like an angel investor, silent investor kind of thing.
Yeah. Or silent partner. Yeah. In Canada and the US.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing that? Like those investments
for businesses?
Yeah,
I would say the first one was probably about 10 years ago. It's almost 10 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was just somebody that I knew that needed they had a great idea. I believed in their vision. They didn't have capital. They needed someone to come in with them. I invested into the business. Obviously, we went through the legalities of it all because I'm not just going to give up money without
of course
my lawyer,
of course.
And so we have an arrangement, and they're like on their 6th location. So they're doing very, very well. And I think that's another thing that I continue to like share with people. I'm not here to talk about finances, but in the sense of like, I'm not the expert in it, but just sharing like kind of what I've done. It's like, there's no shame in asking the people, I think that a lot of folks everyone's just kind of like running for that one grant or trying to get a loan, but sometimes you can tap in and build capital for your business just by basically raising money amongst the people that you know.
Yeah.
And that's where proximity is so critical.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You aren't going to have all the same friends or all the same folks around you that necessarily are worth or have the same net worth. But at the same time, you might be able to get 5,000 from this person, 20,000 from this person. And then you can build what you want to do for yourself in business.
Yeah, that's true. So because you travel a lot and you work with, people with high net worth as individuals as well, being in these rooms and talking to these people, like what are some key things that you learned about, being the powerhouse that you are today and being able to develop yourself to have the wealth and have the knowledge of sustaining it and building it that you do? Is there any like nuggets or anything that you took away from, just exposure of being across the world and traveling and being around these people?
There's a few. You got to continue learning, right? And
that's big.
It's really important. You can't be a closed mindset when it comes to learning new things, because being innovative is a very critical piece of any business, right?
Yeah.
If you are just following the blueprint that you initially created and not intertwining the technology and, the evolution of AI, for example, and different things like that, then you're leaving yourself behind.
Yeah. That's so true.
Having a good team around you. It's really important to make sure that you have folks that are not just there to do the things that you're not great at, but also those that are there to help you evolve and, be as innovative as you can within your business. Also, I think a lot of people are very focused on being the biggest one in the room. And something that I learned in being proximity to wealthy is really it's okay to be the smallest one in the room. Just make sure you're listening. And good. I really love being the smallest one in the room because I learned so much. Because I am humbly grateful that I'm able to be in proximity with folks that I know some people would have dreamed to be around, right? And just keep your overhead low. Be lean and mean. That's really important too. You don't need to have a large team. You know, you need to have hungry and, you know, innovative and intelligent and efficient team members, but you don't need to have a large team necessarily to build your business to be an empire. You can build that with the right team members. So those are some of the nuggets I would say.
What steps did you go through in order to scale and grow your, for example, the Leigh event group? Like, it's huge right now. And you said that you did weddings.
That's what I started with.
Right? But now, like, you're doing productions, literally. So how do you scale your business to be able to do such great work?
Thank you. I honestly am just a risk taker. I'm a strategic risk taker.
Okay.
So I knew that weddings, and I want to say, I love weddings.
Right.
It's not that I don't. I still have some incredible clients that we do beautiful weddings, just that the type of client has changed, right? Now we're doing athletes, or we're doing mega influencers or larger folks, but we're doing, you know, weddings on a larger scale. Still love it. But how I was able to like transition from like just doing weddings and like social gatherings to
locally, but now you're international and stuff.
To doing like corporate or, you know, doing Art Basel events or large scale like Fashion Week, etc., is one, just being bold. I'm very audacious. I'm not afraid to put myself out there.
Okay.
You know, one of the first deals I ever got was just literally sitting at a restaurant bar. Okay. And I remember this vividly. I was running low on cash and I was like, wow, what am I going to do here? Because I need to keep my team busy. I need to keep myself busy. And I need to be creative. There's so many things that I know that I'm not as creative in like the wedding world with. How do I do it? And I was sitting there and I had my laptop open and I was in Miami. And I missed my flight, long story. And I was sitting there and I was trying to figure out on my laptop, how can I get another flight back to Toronto? And I was sitting next to this girl and she was like, just small talk. What do you do? And I said, I'm an event planner. And I just asked her what she did and she told me. And she's like, you know, I think my husband's company just fired their like event planner. And I'm pretty sure he needs somebody for an event. And I'm like, okay, I hear this all the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she was on her text message. Long story short, she was like, when is your flight leaving? And I'm like, I'm looking for a flight now. I just missed my flight. And she was like, do you think you can meet my husband for dinner just so we can talk? And that's one of the things I love about south of the border. It moves so quickly. Here it's like, we got to wait 3 weeks to meet someone, 2 weeks to meet someone. And then it's a cancel and it's a reschedule. It's a cancel.
Yes.
But it's like now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, they don't play over there.
Right. And so I was like, okay, I quickly texted my husband. I'm like, listen, I'm not coming back tonight. I'm coming back tomorrow. Get me a hotel. I need to figure it out. So I remember leaving there because I had nothing. Like I had no work clothes with me. Right. And I remember leaving there and going to like the famous Ross. Anybody that's Black knows the Ross is the store, right? Ross, and I went there and I found a dress pants and a blouse. By then my husband got me a hotel. I went, I changed whatever, and I like quickly put together like a deck because I didn't really have anything, right? And I went and I met her husband for dinner. She joined us as well, and he started talking, and I just winged it. Some of the things that he asked me if I knew, I didn't really know the scope of it, but I knew I could figure it out. Yeah, you know, so I pitched like my best pitch, and 7 years later, 8 years later ish, I'm still working for him. Wow! Every year I go back and I do events for him for Art Basel. Wow! Yeah. Wow. So I think it's just, you know. Right place, right time.
Confidence, though, to like, you know, they say fake it till you make it, but when you're in a hot seat and someone's staring at you,
that's when I shine. That's when I shine. Literally, that is when I shine because it's like my back is against the wall, and I'm not going to drown, so I'm going to swim like hell to get out of this situation, right? But that lesson for me, every time I travel now, I always bring dress pants and like blouse. Even if it's just like a vacation, even if it's just my husband and I always come prepared now because I believe that an opportunity could happen, and it's happened multiple times since.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. And you just never know when God's going to use you.
That's what it is. I told you at the beginning, he just continually shows up for me. And I'm like, okay, Lord.
Have your way.
Yes.
Well, let's go back to, because before you became an entrepreneur, you had a corporate job.
Yes.
And you were doing so well. What was it that made you switch and just be like, you know what, I'm going to do entrepreneur. I'm just going to put my head down and go. Like, I know you had the support from your husband, but like for myself and for other women that are probably in the same situation where they know they can do it and they can proceed what it is that the vision that whether God gave them or what have you, how do you put aside, security maybe, and, just invest in yourself at that moment and say no to that corporate job and go straight head on into the unknown?
A couple of things. You got to bet on yourself every single time, because you only live life once. We do not get to rewind this. No. So whatever it is that you're doing, you got to be happy with the steps that you're making. Yeah. Is it difficult to transition from something that's cushioned to something that's unsure? Absolutely. Yeah. Right? I would be lying if I told you it was easy. Yeah. Because you now become a salesperson. You become a marketing person. You become the receptionist. You become the administrator. You're doing everything at once on your own, wearing multiple hats at the beginning. Yeah. But if you believe in yourself and your capabilities, then you can do it, as cliche as that sounds. Also, I would say if you tap into your strengths, the things that you are really good at. I presented a lot. I had a large team. So pitching became very natural to me. The confidence was there because I had to command attention when I was presenting and doing balance sheet reviews at the end of the month and doing different things and talking to my team and talking to stakeholders. I needed to be able to speak with confidence because I'm a part of an era that I'm an anomaly. Back then, it was a lot of men in the accounting world. Yeah. So I had to grow balls, for better lack of words. And so that transferred into my entrepreneurship. In terms of the decision, I got thyroid cancer. When I had thyroid cancer and I was laying in the hospital and, as much as I was recovering, and my bosses and some of my staff would come and visit me, they were like, we can't wait for you to come back to work. We can't wait for you, you know what I mean? And it kept like replaying in my mind, like, what are you doing? You're good at what you do, but it's like you're just going back to be a robot again, And I had already dabbled a little bit into events at that point. Okay. So I knew that, okay, I love events. Why don't I just take a risk? Okay. Why don't I just take a chance on myself and then just drive all this energy into building a business and see what what happens for me. And I was giving myself 2 years to be able to see if I made it or break it. And then and the rest is history.
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, I applaud you because that's not easy, especially even coming off of, an illness. Even more, do you rely on stability usually instead of going out? But like,
it was an awakening for me.
Yeah, that's a wow moment for sure. And I thank you for sharing that, honestly. Going from there, being successful with Leigh Event Group, what made you want to just do it all over again?
Start a business again. I know. Crazy, right?
ProfessionELLE House. Well, congratulations, by the way.
Thank you.
It's fabulous. But what made you want to start and open up a whole new can of worms with ProfessionELLE House, a whole new baby, something that's never been done in Canada before with regards to like your scale and your scope and your audience? But what made you take that risk and invest in yourself again?
It's funny because my husband and I were talking about this the other day, and he was saying to me that like every decade you birth something new. Ooh. He's like, in your 30s, you switched careers essentially, and you
Yeah.
became, this beast for Leigh Event Group. And then he's like, then we did it again in your 40s. You started this community, which is now ProfessionELLE House. But I think with the experience that I had with Leigh Event Group, it allowed me to go into ProfessionELLE House with a different lens. I was a little bit more safe in terms of my approach.
Okay.
We started building the community in 2019
Okay.
when I started doing like the summits, and I was just really wanting to bring women together that I could incentivize, motivate through connections, community, because I realized how much community was there for me.
Yeah.
And I realized in my 40s, ironically, the disconnect of the community that we have. And I really wanted to kind of do more than just a Band-Aid approach. I really wanted to create, or I am creating, or I have created
It's done.
a community for Black women
Yeah.
that can have their own version of their success stories, something that allowed them to be in an environment that was transformative.
Right.
Something that tapped into all of the things that I experienced.
Yeah.
So if they needed to understand and learn more about business, they could have that. If they needed to, if they were more seasoned and they wanted to have access to realtors or lawyers or accountants, it would be there, right? And if they needed to tap into like their mental health, then we would have psychotherapists, psychiatrists, there for them. And so I really wanted to create a centralized community for women to not experience the disparities and lack of that I went through.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you for that. It is honestly amazing. I am a member.
You're a founding member, girl. You're not just a member, you're a founding member.
And
So thank you. Thank you for believing in my vision.
It was easy. It was easy because I was like, especially after, I don't know if it felt like that for you, but after coming out of the pandemic, the sense of community was just like dead.
Right.
Like there was like none.
Right.
And it was really hard trying to really find others that were like-minded, people that you just wanted to, get to know and find out more information about, and that looked like you, and just have a good time.
Right.
You know what I mean? I felt after coming out of the pandemic that was a big thing for me. Just one of my goals, I think that year, I think it was 2020 or probably 2021, was to find groups or find social clubs or find something where I'm able to meet other people, because it was just so hard coming out of the pandemic. Is that why kind of like you birthed ProfessionELLE Houses, because of like coming out of the pandemic? Did you feel like a loss for community?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
I would say for me it was the summit. So after the summit, after all summits, we do a post-event survey just to, get feedback. Like, what did you like? What did you dislike? Did you like the speakers? What were the ticket prices like? What was your experience? Blah, 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 right? And when we did the second summit, we received an overwhelming response. It was like 92% of women that were like, how do we keep this going?
Yeah.
It's great to come to the summit. Yeah. But then, after like 6 to 8 weeks, people just kind of resume their regular activities. Yeah. But we want to see each other throughout the year. We want to gain access to this in microdoses.
Yeah.
So how do we continue to stay connected? And that's really just what birthed it. I decided that I would create this, year-round social club for women, like-minded women. And when I say like-minded women, the like-mindedness is not necessarily the stages in their entrepreneurial journey. It's just like-minded by kindness, by heart, by the willingness to communicate. Maybe we have some cultural similarities, etc. So that is like an absolute for being a member. But I think what really allowed me to build this out was because of my access to proximity to people. I knew some of the major players. Yeah. I knew some heavy hitters. And like, how do I marry the two with like the everyday woman, the hustler, even a seasoned entrepreneur that may want access to some of these women that may not get access. Right. So I became that bridge. of bringing
Literally.
women together.
Yes.
So you could be at Professional House and you could be standing next to someone that just started their business.
Right.
You could be standing next to a top litigator.
Yep.
You could be standing next to a journalist. You could be standing next to a millionaire.
Yes.
You know, but when we're in the house, we respect each other.
Yeah.
And we are a common community that is really just bringing a different vibe.
Yeah.
And as you said, relatability to our surroundings.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That all the things, all those things is definitely what you get when you go to Professional House, and all the events and your eye to like excellence. Like it just every event that we go to that has Professional House on it, or that has Leigh Event Group on it, that has anything that has to do with Teresa on it, like you're going to be blown away because it just looks amazing. It feels amazing. And it's just like, wow. Like I always, like whenever I go to like any of your events, I'm just like, wow.
Well, I love that. I love that because you know what? I want women to feel good when they're in the space.
You do.
You know, I want you to not worry about, you know, the kids, the hubby, the partner, I don't have enough, the finances, the team, whatever it is. I just want you to feel like you can take your shoes off, you can relax, and you're genuinely feeling like almost like an outer body experience. You're just feeling good about yourself, even if it's for an hour.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely feel all of that. But before we, you know, close out, there's a few things I want to ask you, but one of those is balance. Now, balance is a big, like, everybody has their own definition of balancing. And now you have two full-blown businesses that you're a CEO and founder of, right? And you have kids, you're a wife, like you have literally, your hands are more than full. Your hands, your feet, like everything is just full over there. So I want to know, like, what does balance mean to you? And how do you keep it together? Like being a wife, being there for your kids, and being able to be the CEO and founder and mentor and all the things that you do.
There's a few things that I do. One, I am very dedicated to my journaling. I journal every day. I also read my Bible every day. And I don't necessarily follow a particular methodology. I just open the Bible and allow it to speak to me. And sometimes it's a message and I receive it right then and there. And sometimes I don't understand it, but I never question it because it keeps me grounded. And eventually it shows itself, right? Traveling. That's like every quarter I have to travel.
Nice.
You know, and it's a must for me. I don't care where we go, but we're going.
Is that you by yourself, or you just make sure that your partner's with your husband's with you? Or
I need a driver and someone is like pay for everything. No, I'm kidding.
Listen, I hear that.
I have not done a solo trip ever.
Ever? Really?
Ever. It's so funny because my husband's like, you know, you should go on one. I feel like you need to do it, but he's my best friend, you know, and he spoils me.
Yeah, when you're so used to it.
Yeah,
you know.
So I'm used to it. But the traveling, and then definitely my new thing now is my fitness. Yeah, I go to the gym every day, and that's like my time.
Yeah.
Of just, you know, zoning out for an hour, however long I'm there. Yeah. And that's it. My kids are grown too, so I don't really have the effects of toddlers or younger youngins running around. Right. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But even when they were younger and you had Leigh Event Group.
I had support. My mother-in-law, she practically raised my kids.
Oh, wow.
So I could just jump into being an entrepreneur.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, I feel like having that time, you said, in the gym, for example, is a good time for you to like debrief and just put your head into the gym and also clear your mind at the same time, right? Is that something that you say that is working for you? That's something that's going to carry you on into the future, it's something that you're going to keep going and doing?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been a short journey so far with the fitness, but it's already affecting me in a positive way. Like I don't have like brain fog as much. I have much more clarity. I sleep better at night because I'm not aches and pains and all the things are just not really there because I'm fueling myself with the right food. I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try to stick with it as much as possible. But traveling is also a really big thing for me too.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I need to get on that plane.
Especially now.
Let's not even talk about that, but yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I hear all that. Like, I love traveling too, so I definitely relate to that. But you know what? I'm gonna try the whole fitness thing because I find sleep is often a problem. Like trying to get to sleep and having a sound sleep. I feel like my mind's always going and thoughts are always coming on ideas and stuff like that.
Do you write those thoughts down?
Probably not as much as I should.
You should. You should. Some of the best thoughts and ideas come at like 3 a.m.
In the morning,
yes.
right?
I pick up my phone and I use my notes.
And you just put it in there.
I put it in there or I text myself.
And then what do you do after? When, like for journaling and when you write down these notes and when these ideas come to you and you write them down, like do you go back to it the same day, a month, or?
I just wait for the signs to appear. That's it. Like I've never thought about a business where it's like, when I say thought about it, I've never really said, okay, this is the business plan. This is exactly what I'm going to do. This is the org chart. Like I do it as my gut tells me to do it. I've done it twice and I'm winning. So there's clearly something in the recipe.
Right. Taking notes right there. But as we close off, I just want to ask you one final question. And you kind of partially answered it earlier. We're going to talk about legacy and your legacy. And I know it's still kind of early because you're young over here. But
Am I? Okay.
You are. But when it comes to legacy, what do you hope the younger generation of women who come after you will have access to because of you?
Boldness. Access to being bold, being themselves, doing the unthinkable, pioneering new things, and not being afraid to step into what they feel is their wildest dreams. I also hope that they have access to the resources that they need and the community that they need to be success stories on their own right.
Wow. And I feel like you are doing more than that, to be honest. Like for myself and for the women that are a part of the events and the summits and Professional House, I feel like you're giving us a voice, and a voice that, we probably wouldn't have if it wasn't for you opening up our eyes to the possibilities of having a space for us. And I appreciate you. And I want to take this moment to give you your flowers because they are more than well deserved.
Thank you.
And I want to do it while you're here, breathing, alive, young, and beautiful.
Thank you.
Because yes, you are definitely deserving, and not only like building a legacy that is going to help the generations to come and open doors for them, but the women that are here today, like we thank you for all that you're doing and in entrepreneurship and leading the way and opening doors and giving us a space to be ourselves.
Thank you for that. I'm just a girl from humble beginnings, and I'm just here trying to pave a path that wasn't there for me.
Oh,
that's it.
Well, here are your flowers.
Oh, thank you. I love this. Oh my goodness,
orchids.
thank you. I love
welcome.
this. Okay, this is going in my office.
Yay.
I mean, can I say that I actually was going to buy this?
No.
Yes, I saw it the other day in a store, a fake one, of course. And I was going to put it right there on my desk, and I didn't. And look at this.
See? Look what the Lord has
Yes, thank you. I love this so
welcome.
much. Where should I put this?
Yeah, you could just
Put it right here? Should I put it down here?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Thank you. That was beautiful. I can't tell you the last time I got flowers, so thank you.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again for being a part of this and opening us up in our inaugural season. And I appreciate you, and I appreciate your story.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you too.
That is Black, Beautiful, and Wealthy. Thank you for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. I hope you enjoyed that last conversation. Don't forget, like, follow, and subscribe. And if you have questions, leave it in the comments section. I'll see you next time.